this is you right here. You're hardworking. You care about people. You want to do well. You want to create freedom. You want to live the life that you want. And all the way up here at the top of the mountain is also you. But this is you as the ideal version of yourself, the person who has achieved everything that they want to achieve, the person that has reached their goals, the person that has the life that they want. They're living it. And in this video, I'm going to talk about how you can go from the person you are right now to the person you want to be. And I'm going to say this, it's actually a very simple process. A lot of people get confused. They think that this journey, they think it's a physical game. They think it's physical. It's not. The truth is, this is a mental game. This is a spiritual game. It's a spiritual challenge to get from where you want to be to get from where you are to where you want to be. And you only need this one principle that I'm going to teach you. It's one word that you need to understand how to master. I'm going to help you do that in this video. Get a new take on it. Get a new perspective. See this from a new lens. And the word is conviction. So on your journey, this even looks like a physical journey. It looks like we're climbing up a mountain. We're going to have to do physical things. We're going to have to work hard. We're going to have to grind. We're going to have to try hard. But the truth is, on your journey, you're going to have these roadblocks that come up. And you, as the person you are right now, you need to understand and be certain that you already are this person that you say you are. You already are him. You already are living the life that you want. And along your journey, right now, we're all going through it, and I'm talking to you, right? I'm making this video. I just never practiced this before, but I'm so convicted. I'm actually so convicted that this is the one thing that you need. This is the issue that we're coming up against that's keeping us from being our ideal self. We're looking at our reality. We're coming across our bank account, and we believe we want lots of money in here, okay? But we look at our bank account here and we see very little. We see not the amount that we want. And so what happens? We get upset, we get frustrated, and we go back. And then you may make some more progress and you come up here. And your friends, they all leave you and they tell you that what you're doing is not worth it. And some people, they're not convicted that they already are this person. This is already you. And so if I like to think about Jeff Bezos. In like 1999, he was going on all these news stations and he was talking about Amazon. And they're laughing at him. They're like, Jeff, I'm looking at your P&L, your profit and loss statement. You're losing millions after millions every single year. And he's like, yeah. But he's so convicted that what he's doing is happening. It's coming. He's so convinced, he's so convicted in it that nothing anybody says, none of these little roadblocks are swaying his opinion, even in the slightest. They're not even swaying his belief that this ideal life, everything that he's building is coming. This is how you have to be. So how do we do it? How do we get this conviction? Because how can I look at my bank account right now and be satisfied with the amount of money that I have? How can I, people are, whatever, they're trying to come after me or they're trying to knock me down, or people's opinions, or you have a big bill that comes up, or this huge challenge, a health scare comes up. All these things are roadblocks along the way. And how do I look at these? How do I look at this in reality, evidence that it is here, and still be convicted that the healthy me is coming, the wealthy me is coming, the free me is coming? The way you do that is simple, is you understand that all of these pieces of reality that are showing up in our lives, you realize that they're a culmination of the past. They're a culmination of the frequency that you've been operating off of. Again, I said it's a mental game. I said it's a mental game. And you've been operating through a framework that the way you've been moving, the way you've been acting, the way you've been talking, the way you've been feeling about things, it's an old frequency that you're having to shed. And once you realize that all these things are from the past, and if you want to actually get to the person you want to be, if you want to become this person, you have to stare in the face of these, just like Jeff Bezos did, and continue to move forward, not go down the emotional scale. Oh, I don't have the money I want. Oh, I got laid off from my job. Oh, my parents don't support me. Oh, my family, they're laughing at me. Oh, I had a health scare, a huge health bill come up. All of these things, they can take you down what you have to do is you have to understand they're all from past ways of living and frequency. And this conviction is everything. You have to know that you are on your journey. And I believe if you're watching this right now, you're watching it for a reason, and this person is already you. But when you look at these things along the way, I've had to learn this over and over again. I've looked at these things along the way, and I've been like, oh man, our company is not making the money that we set out to make. We're a little bit behind last year. How am I going to pay all these people? These are all roadblocks. And I've gone through this cycle. I get stuck in this loop, this infinite loop, until I had to have these new awakenings. What am I doing? I'm stressing over things. I've lost my conviction that I am the person I'm going to be. Because if I'm completely convinced 100% that I'm going to do this, none of these things matter right now. Just keep moving, keep trucking, keep climbing up the ladder, the spiritual ladder, the mental ladder. All the other action, the physical, it plays a role. Don't get me wrong. But what happens is when we get caught in these loops, we never take the action. We never move forward because we're so off mentally and spiritually. We're so off. We're so cluttered up. And so the action we take is so ineffective. It's so minimum. The results that you get with just physical action and not understanding that this piece of conviction and that you are who you are is everything, it's so minimal, it doesn't even really move the scale. It doesn't tip it over. It doesn't help you get up here. So you got to have this conviction. I talk about high ticket sales all the time. I'm a big believer in it. I'm a big believer that's the vehicle for a lot of people to not only start a new career, not only change their career and live a better life, but more importantly, help a lot of people. And so what I see a lot is somebody wants to start high ticket sales. They watch YouTube videos and they look at it and it looks great and it gets tough and they go back down the emotional scale like, oh, it's tough. And then they invest in a mentor. But guess what? A mentor costs some money. You got to pay somebody to help you, right? And so when you do that, you look at your bank account and no, the money's not there. And then you start to get into a sales position and let's say you almost have a deal, but it doesn't close. And then you're like, man, I should have closed that. And you get down on yourself and you get stressed out like, oh, I need this money to keep going to make this work because I got to pay the mentor or I got to pay my bills for life. I need this money and you need to sell too much. You're not convicted enough that you are going to make it and you are successful as a closer. You're not convicted enough that you're going to live the life that you want. And all these things, they stop you along the way and you get caught. It looks like I'm making over here like a infinite loop, but literally that's what it is. Getting caught in this loop that you are not the person that you want to be. You're not convicted enough. And when you find this conviction, when you understand that it's happening, it's already happened, you are that person and nobody can sway you from it. No matter what the world says. They could literally hang you in town square and call you a loser, call you a failure. They could do anything they wanted to, but you're so convinced that you're going to be that person. None of the stuff is going to stop you emotionally. None of this stuff is going to stop you. It's not going to bring you down on the emotional scale and make you feel like, oh man, this is going to be tough. You keep going. And when you feel good emotionally and when you can look at it objectively and you understand that I am that person, it all happens. It's amazing. You take better action. You make better choices. You create new relationships. You open up space for more things. And I think another way to explain this is like, let's rewind just a second. But like, how do I look at my current reality and continue to be convicted that I am who I am. I think a better way to explain it is to see your reality through a God lens, through a higher frequency. Okay, a new perspective. Sometimes what I say, a new paradigm or a new framework. But you have to start looking at these things from a new perspective. Instead of like, oh, I don't have the money in my bank account that I want, you look at it like, the money, okay, right now I don't, but it's coming. It's all happening. I know it's coming. And you start to change your perspective from this to almost like above it, like a higher frequency, a new lens. And when you can do that, that's when you start to realize that it's all happening. You are the person you're going to be. You're like everything's flowing into your life. You just have to allow it. And these stops along the way, all these little challenges that are trying to get you caught up in this emotional cycle, this old emotional cycle, they're there. And you can rise above them and keep moving. And if not, you're going to get caught in them and get frustrated and get upset, get scared, get fearful. I've been there. I've done it 100 times. I'm challenging myself to do this every single day. New things, new challenges come up, and I just remain impartial. I just try to get above it and look through a new lens and remain convicted. This is the only thing you need to know. Remain convicted that you are that person. And when you think that, hey, all this stuff is happening, it's all going to work for me, I truly believe that, none of this stuff matters. So you gotta get convicted in what you're doing. It's not a fake belief like where you're just talking to yourself. It's literally just realizing that these things right here are culmination of the past. Drop my marker. Let me get that. They're all a culmination of the past. And when you can start to look at this from a new perspective, a higher frequency, a higher lens, you become, watch out. I'll just say this, watch out. When you have these things happen and it's not really affecting you, because money's not everything. These things are not everything. You could look around you right now and find 1,000 things you could be grateful for. Air, light, the ability to see, the ability to walk, all these things we could be grateful for. Realize that these things, they're tests. They're tests that throw you off your emotional balance. And this game of conviction, you got to believe that you are him. You are the one. That's where you're going. That's where you already are, and it's happening. If it hasn't showed up in the physical reality yet, it's coming. Appreciate y'all watching this video. Haven't taught this before. I'm really passionate about it. Maybe a little bit rough around the edges, but here's the truth. I want to say it, and I'll say it clearly to you. The world is better when you're better. Continue to work on yourself. Continue to push yourself. Continue to try to learn new ways of being, new ways of thinking to help you live the life that you want. Appreciate y'all. Let's go.